Welcome back, everybody. Thursday, about 4 o'clock on the 15th of August. Time to clear out the doors, boot lid, and Mr. Z-Fender here. Start concentrating on the body. Not my best paint jobs. Had some cratering here and here. I'm afraid to say that I think that might be water. This I kind of ran out of paint here, so this will all get shot at least one more time. Anyway, in white. The doors didn't come out too bad. Again, they got little like pock marks and stuff. Some texture here. Definitely need to get kind of back used to the new paint gun settings. This is not quite as shiny as I was kind of hoping. But again, all this stuff's going to get hit again. You can really see the paint where I filled in those scratches. So hopefully that'll take when I go to sand it down. But there's probably some scratches and random stuff on here that need to get filled. But like I said, now I'm going to concentrate on the body. One of the things I got to worry about with the body here, this is the license plate light plinth, P-L-I-N-T-H. And if y'all look up the word plinth in the dictionary, it's something along the lines of a pedestal or stand that a statue fits on. That's at least definition number one. I'm sure there's other definitions in there, but this is the one that I repaired and painted up a while ago. And this piece and this piece should be painted together, or excuse me, welded together. So all I'm really doing is I got this in kind of finger tight, and I'm just lining this up to make sure that it's going to be leveled out. A little Sharpie here and get it leveled, which it is pretty level just based off of the holes that I drilled all the way through when drilling out the spot welds. And then I'll go ahead and get it marked with my Sharpie here so I know where to weld it back together. Alright, so I got that marked, and then the light fixture and the bulb and the chrome cover and everything will go on that. That is unboltable, and I've got to make sure that I get the holes lined up for that as well, that I don't fill holes that I'm not supposed to fill, obviously. But I don't have that with me. So I'll take this back off and then continue on. Alright, it's 4:30. What I would like to do is get the entire body, everything that I want to get painted because it's not going to get covered by carpet, and the outside in a single coat of white epoxy primer. A lot of prep to do for that. I've got to wet sand everything. I've only got this wing wet sanded. Everything else that's going to get exposed needs to get wet sanded. The top here and the firewall and all that kind of stuff, the bulkhead, that all needs to get hit in red scuff pad for that stuff. And then everything else needs to get taped off. Sail plate here needs to get 400 wet, all that kind of stuff. So quite a bit of work to do yet, but I'm hoping that I can get to that point tonight, because this weekend, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be base coat, clear coat for the entire body. While I'm thinking of it, it might be a little hard to see in here, but what's in here is my organic cartridges with the little particulate filters that are on them. That's what I wear on this mask when I'm painting. You notice I have it in a Ziploc bag. I was reading through the SPI forum the other day, just kind of browsing through, just looking at random stuff, and there was several people that agreed that leaving these organic cartridges out in just regular air essentially will commence them to being used up. I think that they're worth about 8 hours. As a matter of fact, I need to swap these out. But if you get these in the package is pretty stout, and it's definitely not just regular old paper. So they come well sealed, and you should keep them in a Ziploc bag, keep them out of the air so that they don't get absorbed. But for now, I'm just going to do some sanding, so I got just the regular old pink filters on there. Well, in a bit of a milestone moment here, I'm going to put the body number back on, plate for that. Again, the body number goes on. There's no such thing as a matching numbers Triumph Spitfire. I can't speak for other Triumphs, but I believe it was the same way. So my body number, my frame number, and my commission number are all close enough to lead me to believe that they're all factory original. However, the engine is way off. But I'm going to go ahead and pop rivet this guy in and return this finally after many, many months of it being off the car due to restoration. Get that guy back on there. Just little, I'm using steel rivets instead of aluminum because I'm sure that's what they used in the factory. All right, milestone. Well, unfortunately, the air compressor has again given up the ghost. I don't think the capacitors had anything to do with it. It's failing the same way. So either the motor's just, thing's 15 years old, either the motor's just had it or something. I'll probably hook it up one more time just to try it before I go home for the night. But obviously that's going to destroy any plans I had for painting over the weekend, because I'm not going to put any paint down whatsoever until I know I have a strong compressor. So I do have this guy, but it's got only a 3/8 inch outlet line, and I can really, I can see it impact me, especially now with me getting the air figured out. I'm afraid it's just not going to move enough air, and I'm going to run into more problems than it's worth. So I've already talked to the garage mate. We're formulating a plan to go get a new compressor here ASAP. So I did get the body all sanded down through 400 wet, got it all red scuffed down. Now I'm going to clean it up, wash it with some soap and water, and start the taping process. It's about 7:15 or so, so if nothing else, I'm not going to really hang around for no good reason tonight. I should be able to get it at least cleaned up and get all the dust and everything off of it, and we'll see how much masking I get done. About 10 after 8, I'm going to call it a night. Everything's been blocked to 400, I think I said that already, scuffed up as required, and the initial cleaning's done. It needs another once over at least to get some of this dust off. Still kind of gritty, but I got started on the tape and all that. I think in hindsight now given the time that it is right now and how much I got done, I didn't play with the compressor too long to try and fix it. I probably would not have gotten to paint tonight anyway, so it's okay. All these little metal spots and the little burn throughs that you see on there, essentially what I'll do with that is what I did like on the boot lid and everything, and I'll mix up the white epoxy and then hit that in full strength and then cut it at that point. I've done that before when I did the Raptor liner underneath, where I hit some full strength spots where the was bare metal. So I'll do that just like I did when let it sit for 30 minutes, then add the urethane reducer and do the reduced coat. But obviously none of that's going to happen until I have a compressor in house that I can rely on. Again, this little guy, while a little champion there, I don't trust it to get me through, especially the whole entire body. So if worse comes to worse and it really looks like we're going to have to wait for a while for a compressor to come through, maybe I'll pack this back in and look at doing the doors or something smaller that this compressor can handle. So that's definitely an option there. We'll see how it goes. But otherwise, I'll be in on Saturday. As promised, back on Saturday. It's about 10 of 8. Hopefully the garage mate will be here relatively soon. We'll go get a new compressor. But I wanted to point out that I got a Tac Life LED stand-up work light thing today. And this is a similar setup to the kind of like the Harbor Freight ones. The Tac Life stuff I have found is I bought a couple other things. I think that laser level that I bought when I was doing my gaps. I think a palm sander I bought for my home, like one of those little mouse sanders. I found that the Tac Life guys seem to be maybe a step up from the normal Chinese stuff that you get. So it's definitely made in China, but it's a little bit better quality, a little bit more engineering. So this rack here that you can see is removable just with this little, you pop that handle out, and then this handle you grab it by, and that whole thing then becomes a floor-based one. There's stress relief on the cord here, so this is screwed right into this handle here, so it provides some stress relief for your cord, so that's kind of nice. These are says 100 watt, 10,000 lumens each. So I haven't turned it on yet. It's plugged in. Let's see how bright it is. I'll turn the light out for full effect. So yeah, that's pretty bright. Can't look at it. So I got this for painting, of course, and also what I got along with that are sheet protectors here. Obviously, the clear ones as clear as possible, and all I'm going to do is I'll just tape those to the faces here so that they don't get too messed up. I don't expect these things to get too hot, so I should still be able to have tape around the sides and not kind of melt off or anything like that. So that'll protect the screen there from getting paint all over it, and also prevent me from having to take urethane lacquer thinner or something to it that may cause it to cloud. So I found this for about $100 on Amazon. Of course, I did look in the Amazon warehouse deals. They didn't have anything, but I did find 2 listings for it. One was $100, and there was only one left, and this was it. and then the rest of the listings ran them at about 110 or 118 or something like that. So I don't know what was going on there, but you might want to look around a little bit if you decide to get one. But yeah, I like it so far. We'll see how it goes when it actually gets in there. Got the rear license plate plinth stuff arrangement here. This here is the light fixture, obviously, with the bulbs in it. This is a new part. You can get these from any of the major suppliers. Comes with the electrical side of it, and then a new chrome cover and a piece of glass. And actually, compared to the original stuff, there's some subtle differences there, but it's pretty close and pretty good quality. The glass is nice and heavy, just as heavy as the original. This is an original Lucas one. But since this stuff is in pretty good shape for me, I'm going to go ahead and stick with the original as I like to do. These on all of them were trashed, just all rusty and nasty. And this one's galvanized, so that's kind of nice. But this has got two studs coming out of the back of it. Those two studs fit into there like that, and then they'll come through and they bolt up to this attachment piece like that, and you just screw down on the studs. So I can't see a good reason why I want to weld this thing back up. A couple disadvantages to welding it, or not disadvantages, but a couple difficulties in welding it is everything's painted, so I can't find a good ground without coming up with something creative. And the other thing is that this epoxy is a real pain in the rear to get off because it's such a damn good product that I would have to probably take this off and sandblast to get the metal exposed there for welding. So I'm going to go ahead real quick and kind of bolt it up and see how it comes together. And if it feels pretty strong and everything, I'm just going to forego the welding. There's the whole piece all together. Obviously needs to be painted, but feels pretty solid. I'm going to go ahead and stick it on the car real quick. I did reuse the nut, or use the nut from the new assembly because the old ones were all torn up and everything like that. There is some gap here between the plinth and this rubber piece, and I'm not so sure that I'm going to be able to really crush that without tightening this down so far that I'm afraid I'd bend the chrome shield. But otherwise, I'm happy with that. So we'll stick it on the car real quick and see how it looks. All right, there it is. Happy with the way that looks. It's mostly flush. It's not on there incredibly tight, but it'll definitely work for lighting up the license plate. So not too bad. I will not weld that. I think it's good enough without welding. Look how pretty. Look at it. 60-gallon, 5 horsepower. Oil, separate actual 2-piston motor that makes some difference, and it's got a muffler on it. It's about 14 cubic feet per minute at 90 pounds. This other one here was about 11. Yeah, 11 and a half. So that's it's going to do a little bit better for me. Hopefully it'll be quieter and run better. So I've got it wired up, and I got the valve open. Doesn't really say to break it in, but I'm going to go ahead and break it in and run it for probably about 30 minutes or so. And then I'll pressurize it up and see how it does. So here we go with the first start. Cross my fingers I wired it up right. 30-minute run-in is done. It sounds good to me. I'm going to go ahead and pipe it in. Everything's all piped in for the most part. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it on, press it up for, I don't know, 50 pounds or so, check for leaks, and then run it up again to maybe 100 pounds or so, check for leaks. And then I think it's about 135 pounds is what the spec says. So we'll see what it looks like at that point. All right, looks good to me. Got a couple leaks in here that it's a real pain in the rear to get these things all lined up so they fall properly and everything screws in and all that. Never realized that it could be so painful. So if I really wanted to tighten these up, I'd have to bring that whole thing down. It's just not worth it. But I'm sitting at about 120 pounds or so. It kicked out at about 130. And lost about 10 pounds probably due to the cooling off. And yeah, brandy new air compressor. Beautiful, I love it. We got USA. Now that I got the compressor sorted, I'm going to go ahead and finish taping off the car here. And then I think it's about noon. I think I'm going to mix up some of the white epoxy and just get the spots that need it as far as bare metal goes, and then probably kind of waste the day after that. All right, everything's all taped off. I hope I didn't miss anything. I got those back there. If you remember, I missed those before. Nice sheet of plastic there over the boot and down into where the gas tank is, and I put some like green paper dams, if you can see that, just to prevent some overspray to get back in there. Got my big halogen light all set up, or not halogen, excuse me, LED light, and that's working really well to shine this place up. I'll get the number plate, the rivets painted over. And again, just bare metal spots. I only mixed up about 2 ounces of white epoxy, and that's straight. I'm not reducing that at all, so hopefully I don't run out of that, but I've got time to mix up more if I do. And I'm going to go ahead and shoot. By the way, I'm also using my my little touch-up gun. I figured I'll give it some use and get a little bit better with it, especially for shooting underneath the dash. I will be doing that. Alright everybody, that's all I got. Thanks so much for watching. Please leave a comment below and tell me what you think. Unfortunately, the weekend didn't go as planned, but I got a new compressor out of it, so there's that. Take care. Cheers.